Welcome to the Tekitok podcast, where we embark on a journey through the ever-evolving realm of SAP and IT operations, automation, artificial intelligence, and cloud technologies. Whether you're an IT professional, a business leader, or simply curious about emerging technologies and industry insights, our episodes will be your compass in navigating this dynamic landscape with real-world experiences. Join us as we demystify complex concepts, explore innovative trends, and engage in stimulating dialogue with industry experts to empower you with insights that matter. The views expressed by our hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the opinions of their respective companies. The producer of this Tekitok podcast assumes no responsibility for any public content, ideas, or recommendations shared.
Welcome to Tekitok. We are actually podcasting live from Las Vegas again. So SAPInsider 2024, and so here we have Kelley Lear. I'm delighted to see you again. Last year we met here at the show. And,
yes, so fun.
So we're talking about like, hey, there's so much going on here. We just want to take a little time to kind of talk in general what you've seen and what's going on in this world of SAP and tech, and ever since AI came out big time last year.
Yes.
So I wanted to let Kelley, you introduce yourself a little bit, what your role and how you are working with SAP customers, with ecosystems, and then we can get into some interesting topics of trends and things like that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so my name's Kelley Lear. I'm a Vice President of Partnerships and Alliances with Thomson Reuters. And that just means I work with companies like SAP, where they're a very strategic partner for us, as well as hyperscalers and other maybe point solutions that actually integrate with our products or extend or enhance our products in some way, so that we can make our customers' lives easier and more integrated across the board. We also are integrating across SAP with 12 of our product solutions.
Wow.
We have 3 endorsed apps. Thomson Reuters overall is a company that is global in nature. It's like $7.6 billion company, so it's fairly large. We have content and technology solutions, as well as innovative AI around our content and technology that help companies to understand anything that they need to do to comply, mitigate risk, calculate and remit to corporate authorities, regulatory bodies, and other regulatory reporting requirements and other things like that. So we do that globally. We provide those solutions to our SAP customer base, and then we integrate with other ERPs as well.
Okay.
So,
oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot. So if I didn't know anything about Thomson Reuters and I heard Reuters, they're all about news and content, right?
Yeah.
Who would have known?
Yes.
So I know that since last year we
Yeah.
were at this show, the topics has moved from key points to like Gen AI. What are you doing with Gen AI?
Yeah.
And since you mentioned content a lot, what have you been experiencing in that last year in terms of having to transform some of that solution or maybe tweak it to enable customers to leverage of this new ability to maybe intelligently be in compliant, if you will?
Yeah. So we're taking, and we touched on it a little bit yesterday, we were chatting about it, but our AI strategy is multifold. So we have internal AI strategy that we're doing that is looking at the way that we offer up our products or content, the way we gather research, we review content, making ourselves more efficient as a company, ability to serve customers better, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we have OKRs and we have training and all that. And then above and beyond that, for our customers, though, we are looking at a 3-pronged strategy, one of which is partnering.
Right.
So partnering with companies like SAP on AI, AWS and other point solutions that we have, like an R&D tax credit solution, an exemption certificate solution, and others. And then we have a buy strategy. So we purchased Casetext last year, which was a very large acquisition. It was like $650 million. And we have this new product that we launched, CoCounsel.
So Casetext does what specialization?
It's in the legal tech space.
Oh, okay.
And it's an incredible, you should look it up, but it allows you to interrogate a ton of legal content very quickly.
Okay.
To help kind of give co-counsel to a lawyer in a law firm.
Including like
casework, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they might have to review 5,000 documents, for example, and pull out relevant content so that they could start to provide legal counsel, whether it's in an organization like a corporation, a global corporation, or it could be for a law firm themselves that are serving other individuals or companies.
That seems like a perfect Gen AI story.
Yes, it is. It's the AI in that solution is incredible.
Wow.
And we're also looking at like how can you use some of that AI across different areas. So we have corporate legal counsel and legal law firms, but our tax professionals also have intercompany contracts.
Right.
They have third-party contracts or vendor contracts. So we're like looking at all the ways you can apply that AI across our other segments of the business, because we have corporate, tax, trade, legal, risk, tax and accounting professionals, and a governance business.
So it sounds like a SAP customer now is almost the. I see it's like legal jeopardy if you don't do it, you don't have any like tools to help you with compliance. You don't have the resource to even like look at all of these new laws and things that come into effect, tax especially.
Exactly.
You need really a sidekick that's gonna like read all these for you and distill out, wow, there's this thing here that I might affect my tax jurisdiction or something like that, right?
That's right. So if you think of it that way, like you're saying a sidekick, it's a great analogy because we call that one co-counsel, right? So it's literally another person or persons helping you go through volumes of data and giving you good insight to that data. So we would do the same thing with our tax system. So if it's reviewing returns, or it might be, around, we have a Checkpoint AI.
Okay.
So Checkpoint data is our system that provides all kinds of content globally for everything you might need for like due dates, but it's also rates and rules, regulations that are happening globally. So if you're a company and you're trying to decide, well, what if I, acquire this company and it's in all these jurisdictions and it's this type of company, it provides this type of service, or maybe it's a new supplier for you, something in your supply chain. Checkpoint AI would allow you to, instead of having to search manually and look things up one by one, it might give you all this stuff. It might be able to lift up all those things that you need to be aware of, that you need to figure out or determine or calculate or plan for. As an organization. So we're hoping to make that easier and easier and kind of put that in the professionals' hands quicker.
So it's like almost like a risk management module, right? Like I'm going to buy you, but like what I need to know, what am I getting into, what are the legal challenges and things like that. That's great.
That's right.
Now I know Thomson's been kind of wrote as SAPInsider for a long time. Do you remember how many years back you guys been part of the SAPInsider?
Oh gosh, it's been a long time. We've had an SAP partnership for probably 20 years now. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And then SAPInsider, we've been probably since the inception, I would guess.
Right. So that question begs to have you noticed the difference? Let's say, pre-COVID, post-COVID, but like we came back last year and it was like, people are still a little bit reluctant. It was a live event and, and now this year, so have you seen like a transformation, not because okay, there's Gen AI like pop in between, just small minor thing,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
just in general, people's overall excitement about technology or even SAP or just the ecosystem or in general.
I feel like it is definitely coming back. I feel like a couple years ago through COVID, there was a lot of reluctance to get back out there, and people having difficulty getting the corporate spend as well to be able to attend some of these live events. We did a lot of virtual events, I think, and I feel like people are so excited to be back in person and talking and interacting with each other. So I love it.
No, you were on stage too, right? Yes,
Yeah.
with the keynote, and then you had like a little panel there. So I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I think I know that person.
It was great. And the other thing that I think is really neat coming over the years, I feel like a lot of the teams, whether you're in procurement or IT or the office of the CFO or like chief tax officer or VPs of tax, et cetera, et cetera. So all the different groups used to work much more siloed.
Yeah.
And I feel like all those teams are more realizing that if we collaborate across those stakeholder groups, you're going to end up with a better technology result.
Right.
So I feel like there's a lot more cross-learning at these events than there used to be, where people would take one track and kind of, go.
Seems like they all ended up in one Slack channel. It's a big giant discussion in one channel, which is
right?
good, I guess, more communication.
Yeah.
So, we have these things that happen, like, have meetings, and then I'd have like a co-pilot that's listening to the transcript and then giving me the summary.
Yes.
So I feel like when all these members are now crossing and going to these events, used to be each person will make their own summary about their experience at the convention or something for their managers. It's now like they should just get on a room, have this Slack channel be dissected and give one brief, summary of the event, right? So I feel like you have a booth. So my experience has been, we used to do booths at SAPInsider many years ago, and then we thought maybe we switch role where we'll put on the other side, walk around, talk to more people. Because at the booth, you gotta man the booth and you gotta do all that stuff, right? Which is important, but like for a smaller company who wants to have a presence and go. So we thought, let's flip the script. We'll come, we'll participate, but we'll be like partners moving around, talking. So you're not concentrating only on specific technology. So like I think based on what you're saying is there's a little more, this general AI maybe got us to talk a little bit more cross borders, right?
I like it. Yeah, cross silos, cross segments, whatever you want to call it. I feel like that's definitely happening.
Because we used to go, I would go to talk to the competitor and find out what they're doing. But now I'm going across and like I have no idea we just talked to a couple guys that were like a Signavio.
Yeah.
It was just like hot buzzword, but like in the old days we would not, because that's not in our realm or something, right? So we would not do that. So I wonder if you see a lot of that, but people coming by your booth traditionally that would not have
for sure
stopped.
There's a lot more partnering too. I'm in partnerships, but before you'd go search out those things. Now everyone's like trying to collab quicker and try to figure out how can we all. And I think the technology's there, whether it's integrations, APIs, web services, web hooks, and other things that are really making it easy for us to all work together a lot better, in a faster pace. So I feel like a lot of that's happening too.
Does that translate to though? You mentioned that Reuters, obviously bought recently M&A. Does it also happen that a traditional company that might have maybe acquired another news outlet or media is now crossing over and getting like an AI company, a technology company?
Yes, so great question. So I was kind of sharing for us, I went over the two pillars that we were, kind of working towards. So one of them is the M&A, because we're doing like the acquisition strategy, but we also have a build strategy. So we're investing $100 million a year in AI.
Wow.
And that's across our platform.
So can I just add .ai to my company now?
So I'm talking to a lot of small tech startups that I've got a couple that I'm working with, looking at right now and vetting through what they're trying to do, that have a lot of executive C-suite type of documentation AI, which is kind of neat because it's traditionally always been in PDFs and like subsystems that you couldn't really get access to that data well. So those types of companies are really interesting. We've also invested in.
When you say invest, does that mean you put in some seed money, or you actually acquiring, or what's the?
I think we would evaluate each one. So a good example is we have a TR Ventures fund.
Okay.
And you guys can Google that out there or look that up. But our TR Ventures fund looks at small startups, early stage funding type
like
of ventures. And see if they might be a good fit in our space and they look like a great technology to invest in. So we might do that, and that might be a phase one. For some of those that are a good fit to our customers and our portfolio, we might say, well, okay, that's a great, we've invested in them, and now maybe they should become a partner in some way. They integrate with our product, or we go to market with them, either a resell or a referral or an OEM type of situation. And then for some of those, you might end up like we just partnered with Pagero, and now we've acquired them. So that's an e-invoicing solution.
Okay.
So that's made some big news.
So you got
recently.
build, buy, maybe seed a little bit, right? And then see what happened, add a little water and see what happened. Oh, that's great. So, I run a startup, so it's always interesting to find out that whether you have like corporate venture arm, you're going to have specific investment opportunities and strategies to, because I think in the age of AI now, everybody who wants to either accelerate that, either have to buy, if build is not an option in a timely manner. Everybody can build it, put in enough money.
That's right.
But sometimes buying is faster. You can see it, either it's going to fit or not fit, and etc.
That's right.
Do you see where we go with SAP ecosystem, at least from a partnership standpoint, because the S4 discussion's been around for a while, right?
Yes.
It used to be a new topic.
Yes.
I just saw the book S4, but I'm like, so some of our customers are already, let's say, S4 2018, which is very dated now. It used to be a cool thing to say, I'm on S4 20. So do you see this S4 movement still core, or is it some of the other AI stuff? It's like maybe I'm branching, investing in more integration technologies, or maybe other things are really cool. I'm just gonna start consuming versus like I'm gonna do this core thing, because I see that also affects partners. So for your solutions, some of them may be not compatible with stuff that gets a little bit older, or maybe only works with newer things.
Yeah, for sure. So we've been kind of co-innovating with SAP as well on their BTP platform.
Okay.
So we are, that is a strategy for us.
The
so
other three-letter acronym.
That's right, I know, another one. Totally. The integration platform. And so we've been doing that, but to your point, our older integrations were not on BTP, but we're going to move forward to say which ones would we roll to BTP, which ones will stay as is depending on the environment. All of our customers, though, are really looking at their S4HANA journey and trying to plan that out for the next couple of years here. So I feel like that you're still going to have, and I like the fact that they're saying, okay, let's move to the core so that there's less customization within each of the product lines as much as they can get there. And then just integrating our stuff in, but we still have to continue to make it, to your point, less maintenance. To have those integrations, make sure it's a seamless kind of experience for the customer. So we've got 3 endorsed apps that way. So our indirect tax and our direct tax provision products, and we feel like that's going to be really good for customers going forward. So we'd like to see more of that strategy, because I think it's a win for the customer. It's like tighter integration. You have less like customization. It's like quicker time to value for the customer. Less like implementation and integration kind of consulting work.
Right.
Not that, you know,
Time to balance.
there won't
The
still be a ton of
consulting
it,
firms
but
will not.
yeah, there'll still be tons of that,
time
but
that.
you know, but hopefully it's not non-value added work.
Okay.
It's more of the value added work, and then you guys can be also, with all this stuff, I'm hoping that we can get more access to the data and unleashing that data so that it can be used more effectively instead of a lot of the front end, you know, integration work that's we've been doing for years, right?
Yeah, it gets mundane.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about your also build strategy with this whole kind of notion of AI and kind of accelerated, more efficient stuff, does your build strategy folks have to pretty much, they maybe have been maintaining the product for years. Do you see any shift in how they're doing that? Maybe they're starting to do, I was talking to AWS yesterday and they're like, hey, what about this code whisperer where they just like generate me this code on like AI based, whatever code that they're in. How does that build? Are you doing anything strategically get those guys into like AI-minded developer, or is what's going on there? Because I have no visibility except for my own stuff. But
we are definitely doing that. It's very interesting. I think it's we have been doing AI for a long time in our corporate legal space, and then some in tax, and it's been for a long time since AI first started. But now with Gen AI, as you know, it's really kind of grown leaps and bounds. So people's daily tasks, though, you know, they weren't as embedded into across the entire organization. So now what we've done is said, okay, how do we start that? What you're kind of teeing up, which is how do we start that learning much more aggressively? So we have an internet, and we have like AI, we're calling it Arena, and it's basically providing all kinds of AI, ML platforms and frameworks and tests so that people can access it very quickly and they can try out little test cases and they can figure out how to use that to either do research that goes for things that are going to go into our products, or the way that they're doing their coding and their work. So other activities that's actually, you know, deliverable activities. And then also maybe even, you know, providing, I was on a call this morning where someone was sharing one of their AI case studies internally where he was generating all of the content for CPE trainings because he has all the knowledge base and the content. But to create new sessions for that is a lot of manual work. So he thinks he'll save 500 hours this year just to prepare for one of our training events. And I was like, that's amazing, right?
So it seems like you have a kind of sandbox and
yes,
so I always think
sandbox.
This new technology come along, you almost have to carve out, let's say 25% of somebody's time to go play in the sandbox so they can learn how to do things more efficiently, right? Because if we get told like, oh, there's this cool new tool make you more efficient, but we never actually get the time to play around with it, so then we get intimidated and we don't do it, right? Then we like FOMO. So it's almost like I know at AWS folks have said even everybody up and down the ladder has to take a bunch of AI certification training.
That's right. So to your point, and that's always the biggest challenge, right? You want to automate and get ahead of it so that you have more time to do other stuff, but you never have time to do that. So, so we are specifically ingraining it from the top down and the bottom up to say, hey, we have OKRs for people's time and effort and skill set. So everyone had to, you know, do foundational training. And then opening up those kind of sandbox environments and like places to go play. And then we have these AI councils that people are getting invited to. And then we have people that want to take leads in particular areas. And then they're going to keep driving people to provide test cases, share test cases. I was on a call this morning. We just kind of launched it and it's already going like wildfire in the organization. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
one idea to throw out. I heard somebody mention to me like, oh, it's all this great stuff, but can you give me budget to hire some temps to backfill my job?
Yeah, so you can learn.
So I can unload 30% of mundane stuff, so I can go learn how to do that stuff with AI. Which is meant you hire a temp to do that mundane while you learn about new thing, how to get rid of that person by using a bot. So it's an interesting time in the industry because I mean it's been a long time since we had like these new great assignments. So I think this time wise, I really appreciate your time to reflect on this stuff because you just flew by. I'm like, what happened? But so much has changed and so much has happened, so that I think at least from us understanding what TR does and you guys in so many different things. If I think about tax, I'm scared. Tax is due soon. I just don't want to think about. I just want it to be automated. Somebody's doing it, and it's in compliance. I'm not going to get somebody knocking on my door, right?
That's right.
In a nutshell, you guys are doing all that at the corporate level, which is great. And legal is something I think also. If I love reading books, I would have been a lawyer, because there's never enough time, right?
Right.
So this is an area I feel like that's really relevant for what you guys are doing in terms of legal.
Yeah.
Just give me the lowdown on the top 5 compliance legal changes. Every year I do this. December, what's a new law I need to be worried about in January 1st, right?
To think about,
Right.
It's the same thing, exactly. Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to share? I mean, what's coming new after this event? Sapphire, what's going on?
So we'll be at Sapphire, so I'll be over there, and hopefully we'll see you guys.
I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll do dinner or something fun. And I think we're just doing a lot of industry meetings.
ASUG?
We'll be ASUG, We'll be at Oracle Cloud World as well.
Okay.
We also have our Synergy conference where we'll have all tax, accounting, legal, risk professionals, and that's in November.
So SAP is just one of those side things that you handle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's the other big
That's
players.
right.
And what we're gonna do is we will produce it, we'll share it with you, and we'll blast it out. You guys can share it around.
Awesome. Thank
it's
you.
good to get like your perspective on what you guys are doing, and just like low down where people like me are like, oh, they have so many things. What give me the lowdown what you guys do. So I really love that. Thank you very much for sharing.